English Easy Podcast.
Hello, learners. Welcome back to English Easy Podcast, your partner to learning English. And welcome to today's deep dive. Imagine this. You are trapped next to a stranger on a 9-hour flight.
Oh, the absolute worst scenario.
Right. They turn to you, offer a polite smile, and say, "So tell me a bit about yourself."
And suddenly your brain just completely shuts down.
Exactly. All that intermediate English vocabulary you've been diligently studying for years, it just completely vanishes. You're left staring at them, mouth open, desperately searching for words.
Yeah, it's a really profound psychological hurdle.
Today, our mission is to help you master what is arguably the most essential, universal, and honestly terrifying skill in any language, which is introducing yourself.
Terrifying is definitely the right word. But what we really need to understand is that when your mind goes completely blank in that moment, it isn't actually a language failure.
Wait, really? It feels like a language failure.
I know, but it's not. It's a structural failure. I mean, you can memorize complex grammar rules in, thousands of vocabulary words, but when the social spotlight suddenly swings your way, the cognitive load just becomes way too heavy.
Ah, so your brain's working memory simply crashes.
Exactly. It's totally overloaded.
Which explains that terrible brain freeze phenomenon. I always used to describe it like a slow train crash, but that doesn't really capture the mechanics of it.
No, it's much faster than that.
Yeah, it's more like trying to build an airplane where you're already falling out of the sky.
That is the perfect analogy.
Because you're trying to remember grammar rules, translate your native vocabulary, read the other person's facial expressions, and figure out what part of your life is actually interesting, all in the exact same millisecond.
Right, because active translation requires immense processing power. When adrenaline hits your system, mainly because a stranger is waiting for an answer, your prefrontal cortex, the logical planning part of your brain, it just gets overwhelmed.
Wow. So we're literally fighting our own biology.
Pretty much. And we see two distinct reactions to this cognitive overload. The first is the classic language exchange panic.
Oh, I know this one all too well.
Right. You're sitting in a circle of English learners. The leader says everyone will introduce themselves. And as it gets closer to your turn, the anticipation just builds.
And builds.
Yeah. And when you finally speak, you retreat to the absolute safest, most basic information possible. You just stall out and say, "My name is Jake. I like food."
Hey, I mean, no one can argue with liking food.
True. But internally, you're kicking yourself.
You walk away thinking, I know the past continuous tense. I know conditional clauses. Why did I just say I like food like a toddler?
Exactly. And then, we have the opposite reaction, which goes back to your airplane scenario. Instead of your mind going blank, it overcompensates.
You just get hit with a giant, noisy cloud of information.
The information flood. Everything you've ever done comes to mind at the exact same time. Your current job, your childhood hobbies, your family structure, your favorite type of coffee.
Just a complete mess of facts.
Right. Because you lack a structural filter, you end up jumping randomly from one topic to another. You basically hand the listener a bunch of puzzle pieces that don't fit together.
Leaving them completely confused.
Yeah.
So the fundamental question we're tackling in this deep dive is this. If we know with absolute certainty that we are going to be asked to introduce ourselves everywhere, from language classes to job interviews, why do we still insist on improvising the answer on the spot?
Mostly because we mistakenly treat casual conversation as something that should just flow naturally without any preparation.
But that's a trap.
A huge trap. The most eloquent, natural-sounding native speakers actually rely on conversational frameworks. The key to curing this panic is creating a simple, customized, short movie script about yourself.
I love that idea. A movie script.
Yeah, a pre-selected, pre-written script moves your language from active, high-effort translation into muscle memory. It bypasses the working memory bottleneck entirely.
Because you already know the lines.
Exactly. You don't need highly advanced English. You just need clear, reliable sentences that you already know how to deliver confidently.
Okay, so let's start building that script for you right now, scene by scene. But before you even open your mouth to deliver your opening line, you have to read the room.
Yes, social context is the foundation of communication. The environment you're standing in dictates how this entire movie begins. We can break introductions down into 3 distinct levels of formality.
Okay, let's hear them.
Let's start with informal. This is highly relaxed. You're holding a coffee with friends, you're at a casual weekend party, or, maybe meeting someone at a hobby club.
So the expectation here is warmth and approachability.
Right. Serious, heavy vocabulary will actually hurt your connection here. Then you step up to semi-formal.
Which is friendly, but maintains a professional boundary.
Exactly. Think of industry conferences, meetups with colleagues from another department, or joining a new online class. You want to be polite, show a bit of personality, but keep the edges polished.
Got it. And the third level.
Formal, highly official environments. A job interview, a meeting with upper management, or dealing with government immigration officers.
Where every word is chosen for clarity and respect.
Precisely. So let's put some actual English to these levels. The initial greeting sets the entire tone.
Right. So in that formal job interview, you need something crisp.
Good morning. Thank you for seeing me today.
But if you're in that semi-formal setting with new colleagues at a workshop, good morning might sound just a bit stiff.
Yeah, a little too rigid. You might pivot to a warm morning or hi there.
And informally, at the weekend party, a simple hey or hi does the job perfectly.
Notice the linguistic pattern there. As the formality decreases, the length of the greeting physically shrinks. It becomes more compressed.
Now, a very common pitfall for intermediate learners trying to navigate these informal spaces is overcompensating.
Oh no. Do they try too hard to sound cool?
Yes, they want to sound relaxed, so they deploy heavy slang they learned from movies or TikTok. The dreaded slang trap. Listen, if you never say, yo, what's up, or what's good, fam, in your native language, please do not force it in English.
It creates this jarring disconnect between your natural personality and your words.
The person listening won't think you sound like a native speaker. They'll just be slightly confused. Pick one friendly, simple greeting that feels authentic to you and pair it with a genuine smile.
A smile physically relaxes your vocal cords anyway, which helps with pronunciation.
True. But let me challenge this three-level system for a second. If I am really nervous about my English and I'm terrified of accidentally offending someone by being too casual, isn't it just logically safer to be highly formal all the time?
It feels like a safety net, definitely. But socially, it acts like a wall.
A wall. How so?
Imagine you're sitting on a comfortable sofa at a house party. The host's friend sits next to you, hands you a soda, and says, "Hey, I'm Sarah."
Okay, super casual.
Right. If you respond with, "Good afternoon, it is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance," you have just created a massive social mismatch.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds super weird.
In English-speaking cultures, extreme formality in a casual space doesn't communicate respect. It communicates distance. It makes you seem guarded or unreachable.
That makes a lot of sense. You want to match the room's atmosphere so the other person's brain unconsciously registers you as a peer. You don't want to be the guy wearing a tuxedo to a beach barbecue.
Exactly. Perfect way to put it.
Okay, we've read the room, we've matched the greeting. Scene 2 of our movie script is putting yourself on the map, quite literally.
Identity and location. Start with the simplest block, "Hi, I'm Name," or "Hello, my name is Name."
Keep it simple.
Then we build out what we call the friendly map. The most reliable grammatical pattern here is city plus country. I'm from Osaka in Japan, or I'm from Cairo in Egypt.
I love the friendly map concept because it isn't about giving someone your precise GPS coordinates.
No, nobody needs your exact address.
Right. If you live in a tiny village that nobody internationally has ever heard of, you don't need to spend 5 minutes explaining its exact location relative to the nearest highway. Just anchor it. I'm from a small town near Milan, in Italy.
And for our listeners who have moved around, which is incredibly common for language learners, you can establish a dual map.
Oh, like a past and present location.
Exactly. I was born in a small town in England, but now I live in Madrid.
Yeah.
Psychologically, providing a dual map is brilliant for networking.
Why is that?
Because you're instantly handing the listener two distinct conversational hooks. They now have a choice. They can ask you what it was like growing up in England, or they can ask you how you're enjoying the food in Madrid.
Oh, that's so smart. You're doing the hard work for them, making the conversation effortless to continue.
You're being a good conversational host.
I want to pause for a second because I want to lock this into muscle memory right now.
Yeah.
I want you, the learner listening to this, to physically practice this with us.
Yes, active practice is key.
I don't care if you're driving, doing the dishes, or walking to work. Take a deep breath and let's speak out loud. Say your simple name intro. Hi. Now add your map. I'm from Poimen.
Feel the musicality of that sentence.
Right. It is not a race. You don't get a prize for saying your country faster than anyone else.
Yeah.
Let your mouth get used to those specific shapes without the pressure of a stranger staring at you.
Rehearsing the rhythm is just as important as knowing the words. When you physically practice it, your brain realizes that you actually have plenty of time to deliver the information.
Absolutely. So once you've placed yourself on the map, the natural human instinct is to figure out what you do there. Which brings us to scene 3, your daily rhythm, work, home, and hobbies.
Let's look at professional life first. The syntax should be effortless. I work as a nurse, or I work as a shop assistant.
What if their specific job title is really complicated to translate?
Then just focus on the industry. I work in sales, I work in education, or I'm a student, I study business. Keep it broad.
Then we cross over into personalize. And this is where setting boundaries is crucial. When someone says, "Tell me about yourself," they are not asking for a deep psychological profile of your family drama.
Please, no trauma dumping in the first 5 minutes.
Right. You're just painting with broad strokes to establish your living situation.
I live with my parents, I share an apartment with a friend, or I'm an only child. That is plenty of information to satisfy polite social curiosity. You owe a stranger nothing more than that.
And then we get to the fun part. Free time. You can use standard phrases like, "In my free time, I'm a big fan of." But you mentioned a phenomenal conversational trick here.
The dislike trick.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Instead of just listing 3 things you enjoy, pair something you like with something you don't like. So you might say, I love cats and cooking Italian food, but I really don't like waking up early.
Now, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I'm trying to make a good first impression, why would I introduce a negative? If I tell a new colleague that I hate waking up early, aren't I just complaining? Doesn't that make me look bad?
It's a highly strategic kind of negative. In psychology, there's a concept called the pratfall effect.
The pratfall effect.
Yeah, it shows that highly competent people become significantly more likable when they reveal a small, relatable flaw.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you only list positive facts, I like reading, I run marathons, I love optimizing my workflow, you sound like an AI robot reading a resume.
Intimidating and boring.
Exactly. But mentioning a harmless, universal dislike, like hating alarm clocks or disliking long lines at the grocery store, makes you human. It signals vulnerability.
It gives the other person permission to laugh, drop their own guard, and say, "Oh my gosh, me too. I need 3 coffees before 9 a.m.
You're trading a tiny bit of perfection for a massive amount of likability.
Now, once you've shared those quirks, people often want to know how that translates into your schedule. They'll ask, so what does a normal day look like for you?
And this is the exact moment where many learners panic and try to provide a hyper-detailed, hour-by-hour documentary of their life.
Starting with what brand of toothpaste they use.
Yes. Please do not read them your diary log.
All you need is the rhythm of your day. Think of it in 3 simple beats: morning, work, evening. That's it. For example, on weekdays, I usually wake up around 7, I work in the city, and in the evening, I relax and study English. Boom. Clean, easy to digest snapshot.
So now we have successfully built the external framework of the movie script. We know the setting, the plot, the routine. But a movie is nothing without a compelling main character.
It's time to transition from the facts of your life to the character of your life. Let's dive into describing your personality.
For an intermediate learner, upgrading your adjectives here completely changes how native speakers perceive your fluency. You want to move beyond just saying, I am good or I am nice.
We have a fantastic toolkit of intermediate adjectives for you. Friendly, shy, talkative, calm, curious, patient, hardworking, and creative.
The vocabulary is important, but how you deliver it matters just as much. Placing the emphasis on the wrong syllable immediately flags you as lacking confidence.
Let's do a quick pronunciation breakdown. Listeners, say these out loud with us. First up, talkative. When I hear learners say this, they sometimes flatten it out or stress the middle like talkative.
Yes, you don't want to do that. Listen to how the emphasis pushes forward right from the start. Talkative. You punch that first syllable and let the rest of the word fall naturally. It has a forward momentum.
What about curious? This is such a great trait to claim.
Again, punch the front. Curious. It sounds open and bright, which matches the meaning perfectly.
And one more, a very useful one for professional settings. Patient.
P-A-shunt. It's a strong, elongated A sound at the beginning, followed by a very soft, controlled she sound. It actually sounds like the act of waiting calmly.
Now, a native speaker rarely just throws one adjective out into the void. Human beings are complex. We want to add nuance to make this movie character highly realistic. You aren't just one thing all the time.
By combining traits, you show emotional intelligence alongside your English fluency. Instead of a flat, I am shy, you modify it. I'm a bit shy at first, but I'm much more talkative when I feel comfortable.
You've just told them not to worry if you're quiet today because you'll warm up to them tomorrow. It sets expectations so perfectly.
It really does.
And there's another brilliant social hack I want to share. Using third-party verification. Instead of declaring your own traits, you quote someone else. Like, my friends say I'm funny and easy to talk to.
That phrasing completely shifts the dynamic of the conversation.
It's the equivalent of letting someone else write a 5-star review for your movie. If I walk up to a stranger and boldly announce I am incredibly funny, it sounds kind of arrogant.
Yeah, it puts the listener on the defensive. They want to say, oh, really? Prove it.
But if I say, my friends tell me I'm funny, it feels intimate. It feels like I'm sharing an honest secret about how the world sees me, rather than just boasting.
It softens the statement while still delivering the positive information. So, our script now has a setting, an engaging protagonist, and a daily rhythm, but an abrupt ending leaves the listener hanging.
You need a resolution that points to the future. The final scene, future plans. This rounds out the introduction and gives the listener a sense of your ambition.
You lock this in with standard future-facing structures. In the future, I'd like to. Or, my goal is to.
For someone actively learning English, a very natural, relatable goal is simply, my goal is to use English more confidently in my career.
Or, in the future, I'd really love to travel and work remotely. It immediately gives the other person a chance to offer encouragement or share their own goals.
Let's see what happens when you hit play on the final cut of this movie script. We're going to simulate 2 complete natural introductions so you can hear how the rhythm flows when all these pieces are connected. Let's look at simulation 1. This is an English coach from Poland living in Berlin. Listen to how smooth this is.
My name is Anna. I'm from Poland, and I currently live in Berlin. I work as an English coach. I live with my partner in a small apartment. In my free time, I absolutely love watching movies and going for long walks with a coffee. On weekdays, my routine is pretty simple. I usually prepare lessons in the morning and work with my students in the afternoon. Personality-wise, I'm usually calm, but I become quite talkative when I feel comfortable. In the future, my ultimate goal is to travel more while I work online.
Zero panic.
Yeah.
No working memory overload. Just a clear, pleasant, comprehensive picture of a human being. Now let's analyze simulation 2. This is Jake, a UK teacher and content creator who relocated to Madrid. Let's hear his casual intro.
Hey, I'm Jake. I'm originally from the UK, but I live in Madrid now. I work as a content creator, and I share a place with a friend. In my free time, I really enjoy going to the gym and playing video games. A normal weekday for me means teaching classes during the day and hitting the gym in the evening. I'd say I'm pretty patient, and my friends tell me I'm friendly and easy to talk to. Looking ahead, I'd really like to create more online courses.
Just look at how much ground Jake covered in maybe 30 seconds. He gave us his name, his dual map, his living boundaries, his hobbies, the 3-beat rhythm of his day, a nuanced personality description using the friend hack, and a future goal.
And because those Lego blocks, the phrases and structures were pre-selected, Jake could focus entirely on his tone of voice and making eye contact rather than desperately searching for vocabulary.
And that is the ultimate cure for the airplane panic. When the spotlight hits you, your brain doesn't have to invent a brand new sequence of words while falling out of the sky. You just breathe, smile, and execute the routine. Which brings us to the most important part of this deep dive. Your challenge. We don't want you to just listen to this theory and nod along. We want you to take action. Pick one simple, undeniable sentence for each part of your script. Your greeting, your name, your map, your job, and a hobby. Say it out loud to yourself right now. Say it into the bathroom mirror tomorrow morning.
Take it one step further and physically write it down, whether you draft it in a notebook on your desk or type it into the comments section wherever you interact with us.
Writing it down is crucial.
It really is. The physical act of writing forces your prefrontal cortex to finalize its choices. It locks the grammar into place. It's literally sending your English language brain to the gym to build the required muscle memory.
Send your English brain to the gym. I absolutely love that. As we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one final, slightly deeper thought to ponder. Imagine this personal movie script you've just drafted in your head. You've locked in your current map, your current routine, your goals for today. But think about how this exact script is going to change a year from now.
Oh, that's a great thought.
Right. As your English muscle memory gets stronger, as your professional confidence grows, and as your life evolves? What new scenes, what new achievements will you be confidently adding to your introduction next year?
The script is never permanent. It is just a living reflection of exactly where you are on your journey today.
Exactly. Own where you are right now.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you didn't just spend your time listening to this discussion. You actively invested it in your English fluency. Keep practicing that script, and we'll see you next time.